This was actually put in here by the British Army in the early 1970s, the start of the Troubles. They were afraid of people smuggling guns across the border, because the Donegal is just those hills over there, the far side of the river, for folks that aren't familiar with this place. So this is a remnant from the 1970s in the early stages of the Troubles. I would say we should preserve it, but it'll probably get taken away by the council eventually. We all coming up? The water sits about maybe another 2 foot higher. The tide mark on the stone there where the mud comes up.
Yeah.
So it's tidal with the foil. That's because the gate's up at Crampsies. Now you won't have time today if you want to get back and get to the fir trees or whatever to go all the way up to Crampsies. But it really links straight into the foil. The canal, another thing that Johnny maybe didn't mention is the canal also then failed or went out the railways, the roads, hammered it economically. But also the foil was always then filling with sediment as well, and they were having to continuously dredge the foil so that they could get boats up even to the mouth of the canal. So that was another problem that added to the cost of maintaining it. Right through. But keep the kids close by, because part of the ramp's subsiding into the canal. It's a very narrow structure and it's quite high, and it's our main problem with the engineers and the organisation that drew down the funding to do the work, and that's why the council hasn't fully accepted it. It's council ground, but we haven't accepted the work, so we're in dispute with them. Put it that way. So you'll see it when we get up there. Somebody asked me a question there.
I did.
Yeah. And what?
Can you remember my question?
When we finished? I said you'd remind me of the question. prompting. The council's trying to get funding at the moment. Now we've got another engineer and made recommendations and has done drawings and proposals. So we're still in dispute with the engineer that did the original work. But once that's sorted out, then the council intends then to get more funding. It was actually funded through Interreg. It's European funding. So your VAT money that's paid to Europe actually helped pay this work. There's about 1,200 metres of canal that's been opened up in the restoration work at the locks and that type of thing. The other important thing to remember is, and it's the reason that I'm here as well today, is my background in ecology, and because the foil is an area of special scientific interest, and that's a British designation, and a special area of conservation. That's why I was brought in, because there was a lot of hassle at the planning stage. Because of those scientific designations, it's about species protection. The main species that are protected in the foil through the special area conservation are the salmon, the sea trout and the otters, and that's the species and there was a lot of regulations and a lot of stipulations that had to be met because of those species. And just over here, we won't see it, maybe if it clears up, there's through the trees there's actually a big bog over there. It's McKean's Moss, and it's an ASSI, which is an area of special scientific interest as well. So it's not just a case of sending in diggers and digging a big hole and letting the water in. There's so many regulations and so many things that you had to meet, and this is kind of why I'm here. I'm not the historian, I'm the ecologist on the thing. So, well, strictly speaking, it should be eradicated because it's a foreign species. It's Himalayan balsam, and it's actually a pest species. And it's because of all the digging and the churning when the diggers were in here or whatever, the seeds got spread about. They were running up this end with the soil, running down this end of the soil, digging soil out of here. So it's really thick and dense, and all the vegetation, all the native vegetation beneath that will die off and won't get a chance to survive. And it's because it's actually got explosive seeds as well. They burst open and throws the seeds out. It's not dangerous explosive, but it's a nice wee trick it does, and that's how so it's a pest species, and it's one then because of the scientific designations of the foil and even the canal itself, or a portion of the canal. It's one that the government will be trying to get the council to eradicate as well. That species, when we get round to getting the people in here, we also then have to try and sort. Vegetation management is really known as. Okay, we'll go on up. So I'll kind of guide people up the wee narrow bit of the dodgy ramp here. We'll get a good view from the top of the footbridge. The council has, because of the way the ramp's subsiding. What the council engineers actually suggested is that this bridge is taken off and dropped down by about 6 feet. To bring it down again, it means then the ramp won't need to be as high. It's because it's quite a steep slope on the ramp that it's unstable. So for it really to be safe for the public, the proposal is, when we get some more money, drop it down in height, and it's all part of the problem we have with the engineering company that designed the bridge. There wasn't much consultation on it, but that way. But you can see it's a good viewpoint. It actually gives you a good view of the foil. Yeah. And the Crampsey's Lock's way on up here about another 800 or 900 metres. So if anybody wants to turn back now, it's their chance now to turn back when we go back down this ramp. Otherwise we can go up to Crampsey's Lock. Donegal's just over there, the far side of the river. And that's Island Moor as well. There's a big island that's about maybe 2 miles long that is in the foil. There's a narrow channel on the far side of the island, really on the mainland Donegal side. And most of the island's all Donegal. It's actually all part of Donegal County. And they dredge away on the river, and the sand and gravel that comes out of the river as well, and that's sold to the construction industry. So there's a dredger on the Donegal side that's dredged away. But that's that sediment that these guys are now dredging that was another reason, as I mentioned earlier, the downfall of the canal, because the river was constantly filling up with sediment. Sediment supplied by the Sperrins up on this end and the Blue Stack Mountains down by Donegal. Right, we turn round and go down again.
So what's that place over there?
Well, that's it's the Lusbys that are family from. I think it's actually been sold recently. Is it any local folks that actually remember is it Morelli? Or I think it's Marella or something like that. But actually, the gent that bought that house at the end of the Second World War was actually one of the judges. He was on the British panel at Nuremberg.
Wow.
He had an Italian name, but he was actually a British judge at Nuremberg. And he lived in that for about 20 years before the Lusby family bought it. And they own the whole island and farm it. We go back down again?
I must start to this was an island.
Yeah, all that over there is just an island. Yeah, even where the house is.
Right.
The Lusbys.
It's scary. Look, it's a lot. You know, things like that.